champions.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another post-game live here on Dime Dropper for the 2024 NBA playoffs. Before we get started, you already know the drill. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube at Dime Dropper and hit the notification bell for all things NBA, NBA playoffs, and LA sports and NBA history. And of course, follow your boy on social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Dime Dropper Pod. And in this one, the final post-game live of the Western Conference playoffs. The Dallas Mavericks have officially made it to the NBA Finals for the third time in franchise history. Your boy has gotten to witness all of them. This being the third, of course. And yeah, it's the first since 2011. They've done it. The Clippers lost to the Western Conference champions. A lot of Clipper stuff on my timeline tonight. Oh, if Kawhi had played, we would have beaten them and gone all the way. I don't think I actually saw that once. I was just clowning. But, yeah, we're not even going to mention that in the discussion. I know the title of the video says Clipper fan reacts to Dallas Mavericks making the finals, but I'm just going to be talking hoops because I don't like – I mean, my team is not worth being in the discussion. Minnesota and Dallas, this was a fun series, but short. You know, both series – well, 4 games in the Eastern Conference Finals and 5 games Western Conference Finals. I mean, it wasn't great. We had some good games, though. Luka Doncic hit a game winner in game 2. That was fun, but ultimately it was a pretty dominant showing by the Mavs. This game was an absolute massacre. It felt very similar to that of the Game 7 against the Suns in 2022. Luka was on a mission. You know, that drop coverage, we talked about it. By the way, so I didn't really go live after game 4, but I just did a live earlier today, like a couple hours ago on game 4. So if you want to go see what I said about the game the Mavs lost, I mean, it'll always be there, but I'm guessing it's now that we're now recording this episode so quickly after, that one's probably going to get like kind of buried in the dust. But the point is, I did talk about how Gobert's defense looks better when Luka's missing shots because the Minnesota Timberwolves, they do as good of a job as you can do defensively. But when Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving are hitting contested jumpers, there's nothing you can really do. You're kind of at their mercy. And that's exactly what happened tonight. Luka was just on one. Step back city from the get-go. Ant, Jaden McDaniels, didn't matter who was guarding him. It was no problem. 20 points in the first quarter. 20 points in the first quarter for Luka Doncic. The Minnesota Timberwolves scored 19 points as a team in the first. One thing I noticed about Dallas, whether it was drop with Gafford, whether they were blitzing, whether they were switching Luka on a Gobert or anybody on a guard or a wing on a Gobert, I don't think they ever switched Kyrie on a Gobert, but everybody else, they were attempting to do it. And Minnesota was like looking to get him the ball. And man, he is such a klutz offensively. It's just disgusting. I hate bigs that have no offensive skill. They can't do the basics. You know, remember, the Clippers got away with switching Reggie Jackson onto him at times when we beat them. I mean, the dude, for how great of a defensive player he is so bad offensively. I mean, his footwork is choppy. It feels like he's going to lose the ball all the time. There was that one possession in the early third quarter where just kind of, you know, didn't read his teammate right and just threw it out of bounds. Just looks like he's panicking with the ball. It's like those kids that are like those big dangly kids that have grown too fast for their own body and they don't even know like how to adjust, you know, and they're like bigger than all the kids in their league, 14-year-olds like playing against 12-year-olds. I don't know. Looks like a 14-year-old playing against 12, but he's really just grown faster. That's how Gobert looks to me out there on offense. Just like he's all over the place, man. And they're feeding right into what Dallas wants, playing right into their hands, feeding him in those roll situations. And you know what? Throughout the series, Ant really resisted at times, throwing him the ball on those on the roll. The short roll, especially, I mean, his decision making is I don't think it's horrific. I don't think it's very good. It's just he doesn't look comfortable. It's like he's got no real like floater. He doesn't really have like a put the ball on the floor and then finish nicely. He has that occasional Euro step he does, but downhill Gobert, he's not really convincing anybody. And then, I mean, Karl Anthony Towns, I thought he was like the only one in the first half for the Minnesota Timberwolves that was like actually scoring, I guess. I mean, Ant had 7 points. No, I'm sorry. Gobert had 7 points in the first quarter to lead the way for them. Ant had 5 and played the entire thing, 2 for 5. But yeah, Luke had 20 in the first quarter. So the Mavs are up 35-19 after one. Of course, the game is still on at this point. It's, the Mavs haven't won. The second quarter, I mean, the moral of the story in this series to me, the Dallas Maverick gap in offense was bigger than the Minnesota Timberwolves gap in defense. The Wolves are the better defensive team, but not by as much as I thought, or not by as much as anyone thought going into this postseason, I'd say. Besides, I guess, maybe Dallas fans that were advocating for their defense. The offensive gap, though, and it was really the stars. Like Luka, remember I asked Anna and SJ when we did that preview, who's better between Ant and Luka? Right now, it's very clear Luka's better, and it makes sense. He's in his 6th season. Ant-Man is in his 4th season. And Luka 2 years ago was in the conference finals for the first time. Maybe that would be closer. 2022 Luka versus 2024 Ant. I still might go Luka, though, because the offense, I just feel like, see, for as much of a defense guy as I am, I still value offense more when it comes to the individual player as the best player, because it's easier to take over a game as an offensive player with the ball in your hands. When you have the ball in your hands, you're dictating what's happening. Defensively, it's very hard to dictate what's happening as your one guy. It really is. So, I think Bill Russell's like the only exception to me. That's like a guy that led his team to multiple championships as a defense first guy. He's an exception. It's one dude. Everybody else is offense first. Your best player has got to be offense first. And obviously Ant-Man is offense first, even as good of a defender as he is. But Luka, the gap is just his decision-making and playmaking in the pick and roll. And that's what the NBA is right now. It's a pick and roll league. And Anthony Edwards, to me, the counter to him not being as good in the pick and rolls, as Luka, is to be amazing in isolation. And I'll say he's very good, but he doesn't have any go-to anything yet. You know what I'm saying? Luka's got that step back down pat, kind of like how James Harden had that step back, or still has. Ant-Man, he's great going downhill. Clearly one of the most athletic people in any game that he plays in. He's got that little step back 3, but it's not, when it's contested, I mean, it's not good enough where it feels like a bailout to me. When Luka shoots that step back 3, it feels like his bread and butter. When Ant-Man shoots it to me, it's like, we'll live with that. The mid-range is improved, but there's nothing that's like when push comes to shove and we're not getting good offense, I got this in the bag. For Kawhi, it's the mid-range, and he tries to catch it, 15 feet and in, usually 12 feet and in, and he works his way strength-wise into like 10 feet, and then he just rises and turns. That turns and rises. That's Kawhi Leonard's like go-to when he's trying to get a bucket. Ant-Man, even KD's got the contested 3 and the mid-range, different level, right? So Ant-Man, in addition to his playmaking being suspect, that's the next step in his game to me, is get something that you can go to offensively, something. I mean, Karl Anthony Towns, let's see, second quarter, he had 8 points, led the way for them in the quarter. Ant had 7 in the quarter, but it was just the Luka and Kyrie show. Luka only had 5 in the second, but Kyrie played the entire second quarter and had 15 points on 5 or 5 shooting, and he was just bringing out the entire bag. Pull-ups, floaters, attacking closeouts. Kyrie Irving. I mean, how well has he played in the playoffs? Some inefficient halves. He's just done all the right basketball things. He's played the right way, as cliche as that sounds. He's defended. His effort level has been good. He's communicated. He stayed engaged the entire way. It really looks like he wants it. And the way he's meshed off of Luka, it feels very LeBron, Kyrie-esque, their relationship on the court. And it's amazing to see Kyrie respect and give that, like, this is your team, to somebody younger than him. And obviously you might be saying he better, of course, but I still give him credit. This is a guy, when I saw in Boston, I mean, he was the man, right? He was given the keys to the franchise. And I got to watch almost every single game out there with my friends. And having a score first point guard as your floor general, when you have guys like Tatum and Brown and Marcus Morris and guys that need the ball, don't necessarily need to be created for. And in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum's case, you want to develop them one-on-one. it's not the best guy to have. I think what Kemba Walker did in 2020 was he was like, okay, I'm here to help Jalen and Jason develop, and I'll be like that third wheel. And I think that's what worked out so well before Kemba ended up getting hurt. But Kyrie, now we know this is his role. This is his primary thing. It's where he started, is playing next to a guy that play makes at an extremely high level and pick and roll like this and being a secondary scorer. You know, the secondary guy that you can go to for big buckets that's going to secondary play make. And it can, and the great thing about Kyrie Irving is he can be an off-ball threat, whether he's, standing, catch, and shoot, and you can put him in movement, and he works quickly off the catch. Quick decision-making off the catch. He has spots on the court. Everywhere inside the arc is basically a spot for him. He doesn't neglect any part of the court. And that's what I love about him as a scorer. And Luka and Kyrie Irving have truly been complimented by the right guys. And you got to give Nico Harrison and the Mavericks front office credit, man. Last season was a complete blunder by them. It was a rough one. But they took a lot of criticism for basically tanking towards the end of the season to get that pick, and ended up being a guy that we need to talk about who returned tonight. Derek Lively shot 16 for 16 in this conference finals, which was, I think, the most of anybody in a conference finals ever. Like the most shot attempts to go 100% in a series. Derek Lively is one of the more impressive rookies I've seen, on a championship level team or in the playoffs. In my time watching ball. When you compare him to last year, we had Christian Brown. He was in the Nuggets rotation. He was a rookie, solid player, had a good impact, but this is much bigger. He's been their best big. It's been, and the thing that really impresses me about Lively for a rookie is that short roll decision making. That short roll decision making for a guy that's just entered the NBA, I mean, it's impressive. It's very impressive. I also just got to talk about, so by the way, the Mavs had a 13-0 run towards the end of that first quarter. Also, the Mavs were sitting on Karl Anthony Towns' right hand when he had that rip through going left, which he always does when he catches the ball on the left wing and he tries to get bumped and fouled. They were just kind of sitting on that right hand and not letting him go back to anything. And he's kind of like one note. When he does that move, he has no counters. That rip through going left, he's always going to get bumped and just throw something up. That's what he does. I have to say, though, man, and by the way, Naz Reid took a cheap shot at Derek Lively, it felt like. That was a little suspect. And Derek Lively, already struggled with that neck strain from those hits he took to the knee of Cat that hit Derek Lively, but hopefully he'll be okay. But yeah, Kyrie Irving was just spectacular in that second quarter, man. There's no defense for it, honestly. There's none. And the thing is, the Wolves just weren't able to get the crowd going at all because offensively just weren't hitting. Like, they had good looks. They just were not hitting. In the first half, the score was 69-40. They were down nearly 30 points at halftime. Kyrie had 19 at the half on 7 for 11 shooting, and Luka had 25 at the half on 10 for 16 shooting. Mavs were shooting 61% from the field and 60% from three, while the Wolves were shooting 34% from the field and 17% from three. Cat had 12 points on 5 for 10 shooting, so he was actually okay in that first half, all things considered. Ant-Man, 12 points on 4 for 9. That sounds a lot better than how it felt. It really did. Wow. Naz Reid 0 for 4. Nickeil Alexander-Walker 0 for 1. Random Jordan McLaughlin minutes. He was 0 for 2. Jaden McDaniels 0 for 2. So Kyle Anderson 1 for 4. And by the way, as much as I love Kyle, his having him and Gobert on the court together, the spacing, it was tough at times. But from the sounds of that, it sounds like all the role players are missing everything, and Ant and Cat are doing their part. But I don't think it was enough from either, really. When we were comparing it to the other side, the role players, it's just kind of canceling out. The stars have been the difference. This is the stars' time. This is the playoffs. It's a stars league. That's why I always emphasize the stars. They are the first to blame. Always. Usually you got to look at. And it's not about the stats. It's about what are you doing to win the game. Are you doing enough? That doesn't mean that you can't play well in a loss. You can. But in this case, for example, those stats sound okay because Cat's shooting 50% at the half and Ant-Man shooting 44. It was decent. the Mavs were not worried. They were completely dictating the game. Luka was destroying them. Kyrie was destroying them. Rudy Gobert defensively, I have nothing to report. Nothing. It was, Luka, I don't know if there's a defense for these guys, honestly. I really don't. It's looking like LeBron and it feels like LeBron and Kyrie again. It really does in its own way, offensively. So then they started blitzing Luka every time, the Wolves. And, the Mavs are still getting good stuff. Third quarter, just Towns was just jacking threes. Just like, they were like, trying to play catch up. And then I thought the effort level was better in the second half, but they just were so eager to get blocks and just play hard. They were not staying down on any fakes. And the Mavs got to the line and just kind of consistently took the momentum out of the building. There was no push from what's been a very loud crowd this entire postseason. They had nothing. They took them out of it. So you got to give credit to the Dallas Mavericks. And they cut it down to under 30, but that was it. That was all she wrote. Kyrie Irving with 10 in the third. Luka Doncic with 8 in the third. Karl Anthony Towns with 14 in the third. He was trying. I think the Wolves' effort, though, in the first half wasn't good enough. I know it sounds cliche to say they didn't want it bad enough or whatnot, but that was not the same desperation level they showed in Game 4 at all. Not with Ant attacking the basket, not with their defensive pressure, but also it's a lot of it's just the Mavericks making shots. And we'll see if Boston has a counter. We'll see. It might just be to just score on them enough. You got to match them points-wise at this point. Because defensively, it's hard. You just got to hope they miss. You got to give something up. I would really just try to make the other guys beat you the entire series. At this point, Luka and Kyrie are way too dangerous, but we'll see if Drew Holiday and Derek White can slow them down a little bit. But that was it. It was a blowout, reminiscent of Game 7 in Phoenix, 124-103 in favor of Dallas. They win the series 4-1. I predicted Wolves in 7, and I was dead wrong. I've predicted against the Mavericks 3 times, and I've been wrong all 3 times. So shout out to the Mavs. They are consistently proving me wrong, and I will be picking them in the finals, even though I want the Celtics to win. Let's read the lines. The final one you know what? Let's go Dallas first. They shot 55% from the field, 44% from 3, 74% from the line. So we talked about in the live this morning or this afternoon, Mavericks didn't shoot well in Game 4. What if they just shoot better in Game 5 with the same kind of looks? Exactly what happened. Those shots that Luka Doncic was making, in the first quarter, that's not much different than what he was getting in Game 4. He can get these shots on anybody, clearly, in the NBA. Let's see. I'm just going to read the starters on it, or the major players. Josh Green threw some crazy passes in the first half. One was a bounce pass up the court. Then the other one was a bounce pass that he left off behind him for a lob. It was insane. I couldn't believe the audacity of him to throw a pass like that. But when you're feeling good, you're feeling good. 2 points for Josh Green, 2 steals in 18 minutes on 1 for 3 shooting. Jaden Hardy, 8 minutes, 7 points on 3 for 5 shooting. What a solid impact he ended up making in the conference finals, basically taking Tim Hardaway Jr.'s spot and coming in and just giving Dallas an extra punch offensively, has an ability to get downhill and even create a little bit of pick and roll. And that's something that you're going to probably see development of over the next couple of years, is Jaden Hardy getting more comfortable in the pick and roll with the ball in his hands. But he can also attack closeouts. You know what I'm saying? He's got a solid 3 ball and can clearly hit the floater. Maxi Kleba played just 9 minutes in this game, still working his way back health-wise. 3 points on 1 for 3 shooting, 1 for 2 from 3. Derek Lively played 25 minutes, had 9 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 blocks on 3 for 3 shooting. The dude has just been fantastic, crashing the boards, protecting the rim, making good decisions in the short roll. Impressive. Baby Tyson Chandler, huh? I don't think he's as good of an offensive rebounder as Tyson Chandler, but he's definitely the short roll stuff wasn't stuff that was really done by bigs back then. That wasn't really the game, was the spread pick and roll as much at all. So Derek Lively definitely has that component, but they have some similarities, man. The energy, the tenacity, the rim protection. Chandler was definitely bigger though, right? How tall is Derek Lively? Let's see. Derek Lively is 7'1". Never mind. Yeah, about the same probably. Wow. Okay, no wonder. How about Daniel Gafford? 20 minutes played, 11 points, 9 rebounds on 3 for 3 shooting. Man, Gafford and PJ Washington really moved the needle, huh? They really did. Got to give a shout out to the Mavs front office. They really did. An extra big man that was a lob threat that can protect the rim a little bit, taking Dwight Powell out of the rotation. Then PJ Washington, who showed like he maybe is the next, after Andrew Wiggins, Aaron Gordon, these guys that, okay, we see they're not self-creators. They're not guys you build your franchise around. But when you put them around superstars, they're great complementary pieces. PJ Washington ended up being that. 12 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals on 4 for 9 shooting and 2 for 5 from 3 for Washington in 35 minutes. But yeah, Gafford and Washington going from Washington and Charlotte to the NBA Finals. Congratulations to them. Derrick Jones Jr., a starter on a finals team and had to guard the best player in every single series. Say what you want about the Dallas Maverick help defense, but there is somebody that has to guard on the ball and do a job. And Derrick Jones Jr. has done exactly that in every series, guarding Paul George, SGA, and now the Ant-Man. Congratulations to him. 5 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block on 2 for 6 shooting, 1 for 2 from 3. And then the men of the hour, Stan Van Gundy, who, by the way, I can see why he was fired and does not have a job right now in the NBA coaching. Jeff Van Gundy is so much better. But he says that the Dallas Maverick backcourt of Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, he's repeated it over and over, is the best scoring backcourt the game has ever seen. Now, that is probably true. I do favor the Splash Bros, though, because of the way that they move without the basketball and the way they've revolutionized the game, and because Steph Curry is a proven champion leader. But we will see. If they win the chip, Dallas, I'll concede just because of the gap self-creation between Kyrie and Klay. I will concede. But right now, I'm going with the Splash Bros. How about Kyrie Irving in this game? Each of them scored 36 in this one. Kyrie, 36, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and no turnovers on 14 for 27 shooting and 4 for 10 from 3, 4 for 4 from the line in 40 minutes. Wow. What a journey for Kyrie Irving. Started in Cleveland. First 3 years were tough. Consistently got better every year. The team got better every year, but weren't quite good enough to make the playoffs. All of a sudden, LeBron James and Kevin Love come in, and now you have a super team kind of situation. You have to prove yourself quickly, and you do, winning a championship. But then you're like, nah, I want to do my own thing. I want to be the leader of something. Go to Boston. First year it works out well. You get injured. Think about, man, if I was healthy, what could have happened? The next year, oh, shit. These young guys, they're still young guys. I'm the man on this team. I got to start jacking. Yeah, I don't want to be here anymore. Quits on the team, then goes and becomes a second option again with KD doing their own thing in Brooklyn. First year, KD gets hurt. Man, pandemic. Next year, start missing games out of nowhere. Just start leaving, not telling anybody. And even I remember that was a weird time. I was doing episodes on. I was basically covering the Nets, I guess, from Dime Dropper on the Dime Dropper channel, talking about their every game because that's when I just graduated from college. COVID, put an end to my senior year. I did not have a job. I was just starting my platform and just watching the Nets and certain teams in the league that were interesting. And I was interested in seeing KD and Kyrie. And it was just so weird. He just kept missing games and being I don't know where he'd go missing. And Steve Nash wouldn't know where he was. But then when you saw him in the playoffs, I mean, he was playing at such a high level. And sadly, he got injured. And then the following year, you had the whole vaccine thing. And that really made the Nets be like, man, this guy's not reliable. We don't want to pay him. And Kyrie Irving just didn't feel respected there. So then he asked for the trade, and now here he is in Dallas, and he redeemed himself. Especially after last year where they didn't make the plan and everybody was saying, man, they were really on Kyrie's head. But he was fantastic. He's been fantastic. And he's proving that now he's officially done something without LeBron. Luka Doncic, his first finals appearance, and I don't think it'll be the last. The first Luka Doncic era finals appearance of the Mavericks. It is tough to see that they have made it to the finals before the Clippers did. But again, Everything happens for a reason. It's tough, man. We beat them twice, and we just didn't really capitalize because it's sad. Well, the first time, forget it. Forget the bubble. Second time, just injuries. Unfortunate. But man, congrats to them. I'm not going to hate. I'm not rooting for them, but I'm not going to hate. 36 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. 2 steals for Luka on 14 for 22 shooting and 6 for 10 from 3. Spectacular. 6th year in the league. One of the best. I mean, I would say one of the best young players I've ever seen, but definitely one of the best players I've ever seen. And he is, I always don't say I don't like that heliocentric style of play where one guy dominates the ball so much, but I will say this. I think Luka is part of that 1% with LeBron James, and it's due to their size. And, of course, their amazing skill and reading of the game, but their size to see over defenses and then have that bully ball aspect. Like, he was straight up too strong for Jaden McDaniels. And it's a tough to find someone who's too strong for the likes of McDaniels and then too quick and crafty for the likes of bigs, too skilled. So, and Luka and LeBron's just so much more athletic than Luka. Luka has to kind of be a little more crafty and skilled to create space. But LeBron, putting bigs on him back in his prime, it was like, see ya. It was, How about the Wolves? So congrats to the Mavs. We'll talk about the finals in due time. We'll do a preview and stuff with a Celtics fan and a Mavs fan. How about the Wolves? Naz Reid did not have a good ending to the series the last 2 games. 2 for 10 from the field and 0 for 4 from 3 in this game. 5 points. Nickeil Alexander-Walker really just shot like shit the entire series. But I still think he had a great season. He continues to get better every year. Same goes for Naz Reid. Amazing season. He's 24 years old. He's younger than me. It's a great step up in the journey for them. Alexander Walker just played 14 minutes. Donut. Kyle Anderson, actually one of the better role players for them in the series, but was rough in this game. 7 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 for 9 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3. I love Kyle. He's never going to be a great jump shooter, but you just got to just keep on shooting, man. Keep on getting better at shooting that 3 ball. Mike Conley, 2 conference finals appearances, just 1 win in both of those conference finals appearances combined. He didn't do shit. 7 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals on 2 for 5 shooting, 1 for 3 from deep. I think Mike Conley, in his prime, he could have been a starting point guard on the championship team, but I think he would be a good backup. I mean, you know what? I'm not going to say that. I think a lot could change if their their first and second option were the bigger problem than Mike Conley. I'm going to spare Mike Conley. I was going to say he should be a backup because he's a little older, but nah, he was fine. Jaden McDaniels, 8 points on 3 for 6 shooting, 2 for 4 from 3. It's pretty ghost in this game. I got nothing to say. And then their big 3. Rudy Gobert, 9 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, no blocks, 4 for 8 from the field. Don't think he changed that many shots. Don't think he intimidated much defensively. He was kind of whacked to watch offensively. It was a bad game for him. Didn't have a bad series, but I don't think it was a very good game for him. Felt a little useless. How about Karl Anthony Towns? You know what? He went out with 28 and 12, so I'll give it to him. He was okay, but I still don't know if Karl Anthony Towns can be the second best player on a championship team. This is experience for him. It's not like I don't think he's peaked necessarily, but how much better can he get? Can he get good enough to be a second best player on a championship team? I do not know. I don't love his decision making. Everything is just, he catches the ball too high. Everything is behind the 3-point line. He thinks he's a guard. He's got a great 3-point shot, but like in this game, he was 1 for 6 from 3, 9 for 10 from the foul line. But I don't know. He just plays too much face-up basketball for a guy with his build for me, and it sucks because I know that he can post up, and it's just too much. Jokic proved that you can still post up in today's game and be a beast. It's not like I'm not asking for it every play, but seriously, everything is face-up. Everything is off 1 foot. I mean, he's just reckless a little bit. 9 for 20 from the field. Just everything attacking closeouts. Like when Naz Reid does it, it looks more natural. He's more nimble. He's not as tall. Karl Anthony Towns is like a big dude. Come on. 9 for 20 from the field, 1 for 6 from 3, 9 for 10 from the line. And then the Ant-Man. He shot well. 28 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. I mean, let's look at the second half stats. I don't like that. 10 for 18 from the field, 4 for 6 from 3. See, these are the stats. They're going to be like, oh, he didn't play that bad in game 5. No, they were both like, let's look at the second half stats. The Ant was 6 for 9 in the second half. Game was over. I don't think he laid down and died, but it wasn't good enough. But it's okay. He wasn't ready to be the number one option on a championship team. He's 22 years old, right? So it is what it is. His time will come. It was an amazing year for the Wolves. Their second best season in franchise history, second best record in the regular season, second best playoff finish because in 2004 they made it to the sixth game of the conference finals. And I mean, they have Nickeil Alexander-Walker under contract next year, and he's only gotten better every year. Same with Naz Reid. Same with McDaniels. The Ant-Man is the best rising American star in the league. Gobert will be Gobert next year. Cat is the question mark. Is he good enough to be that second guy? But it's a team with a really bright future, and I think nothing's guaranteed, but you should be really happy for your team if you're a Wolves fan, I think. But there it goes. Dallas and Boston. What an amazing final series we have in store. Kyrie Irving playing against the Celtics. Those boos are going to be so loud, you can hear them from Maine. I mean, it's going to be amazing. How about Porzingis? Is he going to be back playing against Dallas? He has some, I think he has a little vendetta against them. Luka versus Tatum. Oh, it's going to be amazing. And we'll have it covered right here on Dime Dropper. Thank you so much for joining me. Now to the live subscribers waiting patiently in the chat. Super chats are turned on if you want to drop $1 or a dime. Peace. All right, gentlemen and any ladies, let's get it. 71 people. Love that number for a non-LA live. Daniel Berry says, happy Thursday, everyone. Go Mavs. Kyle's Take says, super excited for the finals. All right, let's write your guys' names down because I'm going to try to give you a shout out on Twitter. If you have a Twitter, put your handle in the comments. Optimitsky, what's up, man? Says, go Mavs. Congrats, bro. I got Mavs in 6. Where my guy Colton Dodd at? Boy, that 13-year drought flew by, didn't it? Did it? Crazy how both teams we beat in 2022. Now we're about to face each other in the finals as a Warriors fan. That's funny. Kyle doesn't believe in punk-ass Tatum either. Uh-oh, Fabian. Sebi, what's up, man? What's your handle again on Twitter? W Mavs. Well, I don't. Congrats. Well, I don't think Tatum a bum, but I just think Luka's better. Jeremy Harrington says, Wolves was lucky Lively was out for game 4. I'm guessing another Mavs fan. I just trust Luka more. Wow. Luka went soul snatching. Celtics are a super team and got 4 to 5 all-star level guys. The Mavs are the best player in the series, but they have no chance. That's insane to say the Mavs have no chance. Jeremy Harrington says, dare I say Mavs are the best center in this series? I would honestly agree. Silence that phone. Tell the ladies we live, baby. I wish. Still don't understand how Gobert has been in the league so long and never developed even the basics of offensive ball. Yeah. As a Clippers fan, Clippers probably losing 7 against the Mavs with a healthy Kawhi. Whatever. 50-50 series. Leo, Darian, what's up, man? Chetori. Mavs in 4. We'll see about that. The only thing I'm not excited for the finals is Doris and JJ being commentators. Man, talk about no aura there, huh? This game had serious Game 7 Suns versus Mavs vibes from 2022. Yep, for sure. Mavs in 5. Celtics live and die by the 3. Damn, Clippers could have beaten Mavs without Kawhi. Relax. 2024 Lively or 2022 Pool? Lively. I like two-way when it comes to role players. Celtics will get dominated inside, and they hope to get enough threes up. That's their plan. Okay. Luka going to get his first ring. He's been working hard since he was 12 or 13 playing professional basketball versus adults. Nothing matters. Where's Anna? She really think Wolves can guard Luka and Kyrie. I'll leave Anna alone. The existential crisis is about to hit the stands. Let's go, Adam. This is going to be fun to watch. Nobody can guard Luka or Kai. I just got to pray they both shoot like shit. Daniel Gafford outplayed Rudy Gobert this series. That's a fact. Bernardo. What's up, Bernardo? Since 2020, in 3 out of the 5 finals, the best player was an American. Uh-oh. All 6 of the last MVPs weren't Americans. The 4 best U30 players aren't Americans. Is this just the new normal or an outlier moment? Might be a new normal. The mix of fundamentals and skill, my friend. If Mavs win the championship, does that change your opinion of the Clippers postseason? Not one fucking bit. Cat's still the same since his rookie year. Shaking my head. No, that's not true. Cat and Ant lost their Luka and Kyrie 2v2 game. Yep. Got to trade Cat, especially with the new CBA rules. How long till Ant realizes he's playing with clowns and what? Come on, man. I don't even like that conversations. Most of the main characters can shake some kind of stigma off them with a ring. Yep. Amazing finals. Wolves second apron team. Rami, what's going on? What's going on, Goat Man? I'm not making a prediction until I see what KP's conditioning looks like. 7 games. I got Kyrie. I'm scared of Boston, though, because of the switching, and you can't really get a cross match on any guy outside of Al. They'll find a way to protect him with okay, but you're still playing a one-on-one game there with the Mavs. Are you suggesting that they can actually contain them? What's your thoughts on youth development of American versus European players? All right, I'm going to defer to Kobe on this one. Hold on. I'm going to show you guys. I echo his sentiments. We'll find it. I have to go to Twitter. Where is it? Sorry, guys. There we go. All right, hold on. Wolves are dirty players. Yep, to some extent. They can bog down that heel. Okay. We'll see. And is a fake Jordan? All right, hold on. I really like when teams hedge the pick and roll versus Dallas, though, especially with Gafford on the floor. Yeah, I feel that. He's not as great a decision maker in the short roll. All right, ready? Can you guys see my screen? Oh, no, you can't. Hold on. Can you guys see? Okay, there we go.
Knew the game. That was just you, or do you really think it's gone backwards in that way?
No, it has. I mean, our development in USA basketball, you can just look at that on the surface and the difficulty and the challenges that we face in playing international competitions. So when I grew up and growing up overseas in Italy, I was very fortunate because I caught the teaching time in Europe. So, the Red Holtzmans, the Tex Winners, and all these great coaches at the time went over to Europe to teach coaches, have coaching clinics of how to train players. So when I was growing up, I caught the fundamentals of that game, right? Pau Gasol, Manu Ginobili, same thing. And so you look at the difficulty that we have had in international competition is because these players learn how to play the game and think the game at all levels. Pau Gasol, just as comfortable handling the ball as he is in the post. Marc Gasol, right? You look at San Antonio Spurs and the way that they move the ball. And so we have to do a better job developing our players.
Okay. Hold on one sec. So, breaking that quote down and what he was saying, notice something that Kobe said about Powell. Just as comfortable handling the ball as he is in the post. That's one thing that the European and the foreign bigs have more than the American bigs, the post game. That's completely been left out of the equation with American bigs. It's just playing like a guard now and using your athleticism to move well on the perimeter and stuff like that. And I started to see it, when I was being trained in middle school and stuff. I was starting to see the bigs working more on ball handling and less on post skills. And that's a whole conversation about the rules of the NBA and what's big. Also how people want to play. That's another thing. The Jordans, the Kobes, they've changed things. People want to play like them. Playing like a big is not attractive. But, also with the removal of the hand checking and not I don't want to say removal because it's still, it's not like hand checking is not allowed at all, because it is, but it's how much you enforce it. But obviously in the mid 2000s, there was a whole effort to try to make the game easier for guards. And after that, it's slowly been happening after that. The bigs looking to, handle the ball more. The face-up game has become more of a theme than the back-to-basket game. The Europeans come in with that back-to-basket game. I think their passing on average has always been better. And high IQ. I don't know what it is. Less individualistic. One thing that the American players just don't seem to have is being able to a lot of the I don't want to say we don't have mid-ranges, because there are guys that do. But the guys that spend multiple years in college a lot of times have a good mid-range or cutting, especially cutting. Moving without the ball. The dudes, the one and dones, a lot of those guys do not move without the ball. But anyway. Yeah. All right, guys. Anything else? I'm about to log off. Congrats to the Mavs fans. Kyrie will get his revenge from Boston. I don't know if it's just me, but whenever I try to guard a ball screen and pick up, Showing aggressively. Getting the ball to go backwards seems to work every time. Okay. Mid-range is dead. It's legit spread pick and roll. That's funny as hell. All right, guys. Peace. Make sure you comment your prediction of the finals in the comment section. Peace.